Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Philanthropone, and I am back this time to give my official review for the HTC Vive Wireless Adapter. Wireless VR has been a long time coming, and it is finally here, and this means that VR has reached a new giant milestone, and everyone should be excited for what HTC has done in creating this device. I'm going to break down the review in a number of categories, so let's get right to it. First, setup. Setting up the Vive Wireless Adapter was a very smooth process for me, and I pretty much had no issues I can think of. The directions for setting up the device are all done online via a link provided in a pamphlet inside the box. The most cumbersome step, which isn't actually that difficult at all as long as you have a general knowledge of computers, is installing the required PCI Express card into your PC. And if for some reason you didn't know this, absolutely make sure your PC's motherboard has an available PCI slot before buying. And after you've hooked up all the parts, all that's left to do is run the software and connect it, which is literally done in one click. A small software interface then shows your connection status as well as a signal strength indicator. And I was very impressed at how well the signal strength is even when the adapter was out of the wireless link box's line of sight. Very impressive, I must say. Although I will say that there were two things that I was surprised that the setup guide did not mention. First, you apparently need the old link box for Bluetooth to work so you can power manage your base stations. Second, while it's not really a big deal because it's pretty obvious, but it was kind of surprising that they don't really teach you how to power on or power off the device. And also, if you are looking to extend the range of the wireless link box that's screwed into the back of your PC, I have read reports of this not being possible, so unfortunately, using your wireless adapter in a room separated from your PC is not possible for now, but in time I will not be surprised if someone thinks of something to make this possible. I've already read reports of people using PCI extender cables with success, so we'll see what happens. Next up, performance. I'm absolutely blown away at how well the Vive Wireless Adapter performs. It essentially eliminates the issues with a now inferior TP cast, which had a notorious green line in your field of vision that many people complained about, as well as an inferior transmission technology that uses Wi-Fi connectivity with a router, where the Vive Wireless Adapter makes use of WiGig, which gives it an interference-free connection since it has its own dedicated transmission specifically for the Vive Wireless Adapter and only the Vive Wireless Adapter. I have yet to see any kind of slowdown or frame rate mishap since using it. I haven't had line of sight issues at all, and I couldn't praise HTC more for making such an awesome and really essential product for a virtual reality headset. Now, when it comes to super sampling, if image quality is a big deal for you and you are hoping to get the same super sampling results that you did pre-wireless adapter, you might end up disappointed. Don't get me wrong, with the right PC hardware you can definitely get great results, but after some extensive testing myself, I will admit that there is a hit in performance once you start to up the super sampling option in SteamVR's settings. I will also note that I normally never even touch super sampling because, as a VR YouTuber, the last thing I need is dropped frames or games crashing while I'm recording a gameplay video. But I thought it was important that I tested extensively for the purpose of this review, since a lot of people utilize the super sampling in SteamVR's settings. The good news in all this, like I've stated in past videos, I really couldn't notice a difference once I left, everything on default after getting the Vive Wireless Adapter, but I can now definitely see a difference after toying with the super sampling options, and it came to my surprise that my recommended setting was only 80%. Which surprised me considering I could run games like Doom at 150% without any hiccups. Games like Twilight Path, however, started to have noticeable frame rate dips when going beyond 115%. So as of today, I've settled on 100% global super sampling, which is 20% higher than my recommended setting, and I can also increase it per application should I decide to do that. Next, comfort. So the two questions most people have regarding comfort have to do with weight and heat. Is it heavy? Does it weigh down your head more, or can you feel it get hot when it's on your head? As far as weight goes, I can maybe notice a little bit more weight with the headset on, but in no way would I call it a deal breaker. Now, heat is where things get a little bit messy because there have been reports that people with regular OG HTC Vives are experiencing the device overheating to the point where one person burnt their scalp. And while the picture looks bad, this person later admitted that he has a higher than normal pain tolerance, which is probably why he didn't notice. But that begs the question, well, what if he did notice? Because if he did, then he'd likely have to stop playing, which sucks if you have to end a VR play session because your head is getting scorched. So unfortunately, I can't speak to this personally as I now use a Vive Pro, which does not have this issue thanks to the extra padding the Vive Pro attachment kit comes with, so maybe that extra $60 was worth it in the end. Also, if you're wearing loose pants like pajama pants for example, the battery is a bit heavy to where it feels like your pants are being pulled down kind of, so either wear a belt or do what I do, which is wear a jacket, a light jacket or a hoodie, and put it in that pocket instead. If it's summertime and you don't want to wear a jacket obviously, then make sure your shorts I guess have a belt. Lastly, the cable connected to the battery is not an issue at all for me since it's very easy to just tuck away behind you. Next, battery life. I would say that the battery for the Vive Wireless Adapter is as advertised, where most people should get around 2.5 hours of use before having to recharge it. The good news with this is, unlike desktop games, most people aren't playing VR games for hours and hours at a time, so this theoretically should be enough for most VR gamers. Another great thing is that the battery can be swapped out for a fresh one should you decide to get totally ripped off and buy a second official HTC battery on their website for $80. Although it appears that so far the only way to get a second one is when you already have the Vive Wireless Adapter in your cart. So if you already bought your wireless adapter, it looks like you're out of luck for now. However, there have been reports of people using third-party batteries just fine and at half the cost. And I'm personally not going to go down that route for now, that is using a third-party battery, just to avoid any risks that might be there when using a third-party battery. But if you decide to get one, I'd recommend getting one with Quick Charge 3.0, since that's what HTC's battery uses and should hopefully perform the same way. In conclusion, I can absolutely recommend this device, especially at the price of $300, which I know isn't cheap, but it's much cheaper than the $500 prediction I made a few months ago. And if you're a die-hard super sampling enthusiast, then you may be a bit disappointed and will have to upgrade your PC if you want to achieve similar results to a wired HTC Vive or Vive Pro. I hope this review has been helpful, and as always, I'd appreciate it if you guys liked the video and let me know in the comments whether or not you got a wireless adapter, or if you're holding off for a price cut or whatever. Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear. So that's all for this one. Thank you once again. Until next time, peace.